I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need, and I don't care about
What's up,
the
YouTube gang?
Gang.
It's your girl Sharon and
It's your boy Justin.
Today we're going to be going to the Jurassic Quest. Let's get into the video.
Is now Argentina about 231 million years ago. Beside that is a kind of skinny dinosaur named Coelophysis. Its name means hollow because they had hollow sacs of air in their joints instead of cartilage. Coelophysis is the oldest known dinosaur from North America. And here is a large predator known as Herrerasaurus. Herrerasaurus is the name of one of the largest predatory dinosaurs that lived in the Triassic period.
That's not
It lived
scary.
in what is now Argentina about 200
Hey there, folks, this is Safari Sarah. The Triassic period was the dawn of the age of dinosaurs, but it too had to come to an end. Just a little over 200 million years ago, the Earth encountered another mass extinction. Believed to be caused by an increased period of volcanic activity, it caused the extinction of roughly 70%.
Is that a leash?
This wiped out a lot of bigger animals at the time. Without big competitors, dinosaurs thrived. And in the Jurassic period, they quickly became the gargantuan creatures we think of when we hear the word dinosaur.
Captain Caleb here. I hope your auto insurance covers water damage. Because in order to get into the Jurassic period, we're diving deep into the Jurassic Ocean. The big shell you see is an ammonite. Ammonites are cephalopods. That means they are relatives of the squid, octopus, and nautilus. Their spiral shells protected them from predators. Some shells got to reach sizes of 6 feet across or more. The animal that looks kind of like a small dolphin is an ichthyosaurus. That name means fish lizard. It's an aquatic reptile, not a mammal, so it isn't related to dolphins at all. We can't forget about the small, long-necked animal swimming with it. That's a plesiosaurus, another important part of this ecosystem. As a wise man once said, there's always a bigger fish.
They look
The big
ugly.
critter here is the magical Leopleurodon. Leopleurodon
Guys,
is a
these
member of
look
the Pliosaurus,
ugly.
which is a kind of short-necked plesiosaur. It's important to point out that the animals you see here are not dinosaurs, but reptiles that lived in the ocean at the same time as the dinosaurs.
It says press pause now.
And have legs
Press pause.
underneath their hips and not splayed out to the sides like lizards.
Mommy, should I give mommy the phone? She can press pause.
Try Sarah, stop the audio tour until you reach the next scene.
Hello! Used what we call artistic license, which is just a fancy way of saying they just plain made it up. We don't know for sure that some dinosaurs didn't spit poison, but we don't have any reason to think that Dilophosaurus did. There's also no evidence that they had that colored ruff. The frill is seen in other creatures when frightened, like a frilled neck lizard or a wild William Shakespeare, but not in Dilophosaurus, as far as we know.
Who can name the dinosaur here covered in plates?
Ankylosaurus.
If you said Stegosaurus,
Stegosaurus.
you're right. Stegosaurus is a Jurassic plant eater whose back, neck, and tail were covered in bony plates. Stegosaurus had a special weapon. Along its tail, it had a set of spikes called a thagomizer that it would use to defend itself from predators. And the predator it had to worry about the most was Allosaurus. T-Rex isn't the only scary meat-eating dinosaur we have here at Jurassic Quest. Allosaurus was one of the larger predators around in the late Jurassic. Allosaurus had long arms for a theropod with big, hooked claws. These could help it grip onto its prey while it used its serrated teeth as its primary weapon. We know it used it.
Blinking.
That's not the thing they talking about. They're talking about the one way over there. They just moving slow, that's all.
I know, but these are blinking.
This all the stuff they hit.
just opening up like. That one just bubble and say, oh, that one blinks too. Oh God.
Arms because scientists have found signs of microscopic stress fractures on the bones of their forearms. This happens in bones when a person or an animal is using force to move heavy weight with their bodies. They might have used their arms to keep prey from getting away, or possibly to hold onto a stegosaurus's tail to avoid getting hit. The little guys in the scene are called guanlong. They're an early member of the Coelosaur family that lived in what is now China. The Coelosaur family was made up of mostly small predators, but as time went by, some Coelosaurs eventually became a bit bigger. Specifically, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Look at that one right there, guys.
The big, long-necked dinosaur in this scene is a Apatosaurus.
Oh my God.
A Apatosaurus is what we call a sauropod, or a long-necked dinosaur. Sauropods were the biggest animals to ever walk on Earth. In order to get that big, sauropods had to eat all the time. To eat even more, these long-necked giants didn't even waste time chewing, but swallowed the leaves from trees whole. But they had a special trick to help them digest their food. Sauropods would sometimes crane their long necks down to the ground and swallow small stones. Those rocks would help them grind up their food once it was inside. Those rocks are called gastroliths, or stomach rocks in Latin. These gastroliths are super important because they help scientists learn the migration patterns of these dinosaurs by matching the gastroliths back to the areas where the rocks originally came from.
Please pause your audio tour until your dinosaur herd migrates on up to the next scene. The Cretaceous was the longest of the three periods of the Mesozoic. The Cretaceous period saw all kinds of strange new life forms, including weird new plants that we call flowers. We're starting off in what is now England during the Early Cretaceous, roughly 120 million years ago. The duck-billed dinosaur you see is what we call an iguanodon, and it's one of the first dinosaurs to be discovered and named. Some of you might have already guessed that iguanodon means iguana tooth. When iguanodon was discovered in England, no one had ever even heard of dinosaurs
Guys,
yet.
did you see the
So
leg
when it came time to name this bizarre new animal, the only similarities anyone could think of were that its teeth kind of looked like the teeth of an iguana, only bigger. The very first drawings of iguanodon depicted it as a giant iguana-like creature. The animal it's next to is Baryonyx. Baryonyx was a carnivore, and specifically, it ate fish. We know that it ate fish because when the first Baryonyx skeleton was found in England in the 1980s, it had fossilized fish bones and fish scales inside of its belly, along with a few bones from a young iguanodon. Since it lived in what is now England, as one of its last meals was fish, this could be the earliest evidence of anyone in the UK ordering fish and chips.
Our quest has now taken us from Europe to the continent of Asia, still in the Early Cretaceous. The big dino you see here is Eutyrannus, the feathered tyrant.
That's way over there.
Eutyrannus is part of the Tyrannosauridae family. That means it's a relative of the T-Rex. Eutyrannus lived in the
Told you, they go, you know what I'm saying? Go too fast.
The giant. Oh, I thought it was a thing. That's a light.
Fish on the ground.
That's catfish, mama.
Is that what that is? His tail move.
Oh God, you look so ugly.
Hush.
Oh God,
Did the hush.
you look so ugly.
Eutyrannus.
Mommy, you can.
Hold on, wait till we get a little closer.
Well. Bro, look at the second one right there. You're Tyrannosaurus. You're Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, I already started talking about
Tyrannus.
Ooh, Tito, look at that one. That one moves.
province of China. What makes Utayrannus special is that it is the largest dinosaur that we know of.
What's that, boy?
We know that Utayrannus had feathers because
Why
of
is that
where
thing
it
so
lived.
hairy?
About 120 million years ago, a volcanic eruption
Look at
flamed
that
much of the
one.
Leone province with hot ash. Like what happened at
Oh.
Pompeii thousands
What
of
is that
years
one?
ago.
That
While
one
that
is
was
a
devastating to the animals at that time, it's great for paleontologists
Utah
because it
raptor.
preserves soft tissue, in
So
some
hairy.
cases including
They
feathers.
all hairy.
Hi, it's Park Ranger Marty again, and welcome to the Early
just touched the
Cretaceous
floor.
North America. Furry guy is Utah Raptor. Now let's see, can anyone guess where Utah Raptor was discovered? That's right, Cincinnati. Just kidding, folks. Utah Raptor was found in Utah.
Bitch about to hit the
Utah
car.
Raptor is the largest known member of the raptor family. Now behind him is a predator named Seatz. Seatz was a massive predator that lived at the end of the Early Cretaceous. Very little is known about Seatz due to how recent of a discovery it is.
Press pause.
But it is thought to be a member of the Allosauridae group that lived
We
into
ain't
the
on it
Early
yet. We ain't called
Cretaceous.
this one out yet.
Seatz lived in North America at about the same time as some members of the Tyrannosaur family. But those tyrannosaurs didn't get any larger than about the size of a Great Dane because the alpha predator role had already been filled by Seatz. It wasn't until Seatz went extinct that larger tyrannosaurs like Tyrannosaurus Rex took the stage. Also in this scene, you'll see Deinonychus, or Deinonychus if you prefer. The name means terrible claw because of the sickle-like claws on its toes. If you've ever seen a movie that had a dinosaur called Velociraptor, Early Cretaceous period. The dinosaur standing here is one that I bet a lot of you know. Can you guess what it is? Did you say Spinosaurus? You got it! Spinosaurus is one of the largest carnivores to ever walk the earth. But it mostly ate fish. We know that because Spinosaurus' teeth have been found embedded in fossilized bones of a large fish. Although they have also been found in the bones of other dinosaurs. Spinosaurus is a creature that was a mystery for a long time. Its fossils were discovered in 1912, but they were destroyed during World War II, when the museum they were in was hit during a bombing raid. It wasn't until the 1990s when Spinosaurus' fossils were rediscovered. In fact, we've learned more about the Spinosaurus in the last 20 years than we have in the last century. We now know that Spinosaurus was a massive predator that lived in and out of the water in marshy waterways of what we now know to be northern Africa. I haven't heard anything about moving them anywhere. They should both be there.
It's a weird looking thing.
I can check in with Nick and Marty to see if they know anything about this.
That would be great. I'll organize a search. We need to find them soon, but we cannot get our guests worried. Let's keep this on the down low.
Roger that. We're moving through time again, folks. Welcome to the Late Cretaceous. The Spinosaurus we just saw spent a lot of time in and around water, and that's where we're going. Welcome to the Western Interior Seaway. That's a shallow sea that stretched from the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic Ocean during the Cretaceous period. The Great Plains of what is now the United States and Canada used to be underwater.
That one got
Lots of
2
marine
tons.
fossils are found in places like Kansas. The first creature here is the long-necked Elasmosaurus. It's a relative of the Plesiosaurus, but much bigger. Second is Archelon, the biggest sea turtle known to exist. It had a leathery shell called carapace.
No, that's the one over there.
Just like sea turtles today, it probably laid eggs on land. The huge, fearsome creature is Tylosaurus. A relative of Mosasaurus, its name means the knob lizard because of a bony protrusion on the end of its snout that might have been used to ram into its prey. Tylosaurus is a member of the Squamata family. That's the group of reptiles that includes lizards and snakes. They had forked tongues for tasting scents in the water. They even had a row of teeth in the back of their mouths for holding onto prey in the water. And that scary fish that you see that looks like a cross between a piranha and a tuna is Xiphactinus. Xiphactinus was a voracious predator that lived in the oceans all over the world. It could reach lengths of up to 20 feet long. If you have any other questions about these creatures or anything else you see on the tour, feel free to text Park Ranger Marty at 844-411.
We had fun, and we have seen a whole lot of dinosaurs. And we have a lot of souvenirs, like this Tyrannosaurus,
This Spinosaurus.
that
And
shark,
this shark stick. And the
this
Megalodon.
Megalodon, and this dinosaur map.
Creepy
They have-
Spinosaurus.
I think I can name
And
the ones that I can. Spinosaurus, Megalodon,
T-Rex.
Velociraptor, Triceratops,
Dinosaurs.
Stegosaurus, Pteranodon, and T-Rex. That's the ones I can actually name. The other ones, I can't really say.
Hey, stop. It's different.
But we had a good time. We seen a lot of dinosaurs that I didn't even know that were dinosaurs. I didn't even know a Megalodon was a dinosaur.
It looked like a
I didn't even
shark.
know it was. I
But it
didn't
was
even know
bigger
there
than
was.
a shark.
I didn't even know something was even called a Megalodon. It looked like a
You can
shark.
like, subscribe the video.
And
Bye.
yeah. So like,
Subscribe. Hit the notification bell.
and suggest.
Bye.